What's up, adventurers? My name is Platinum Phoenix, and welcome back to Kirby Mass Attack. Last time, we left off by chasing a question mark button through space. And this time, we're going to continue our chase into Stage 11. So let's go ahead and get into it. This stage requires 10 Kirbys, which is actually the highest number a stage has ever had. I believe this is the one stage in the game, besides boss stages, that require 10 Kirbys. But we are now continuing our chase. And apparently we have forgotten how to use the buttons in the spaceship to shoot lasers, because we have been slapped around by a bunch of rocks and are now forced to crash land. And I find it funny how the Kirbys are just ejected, and then the spaceship just explodes for reasons. It had enough foresight to eject us and then explode at least. But that brings me to a different topic. How are the Kirbys breathing? Because it has been shown that they need air through every single water level in this game. But for some reason right now, they don't need air, as they are flying through space. I would think they would use more air flying through space, honestly. And I understand that they are star children, but it still just doesn't make sense to me. And we have a new mechanic here. It's similar to an old mechanic, but what we need to do is, I'm actually just avoiding these, but you can hit those levers and cause those to explode. And we have new enemies here, or we had new enemies here. These are space posulas. Basically, they are just space slugs, and they work almost exactly the same as the regular posulas. They will crawl onto surfaces and can shoot those poison globs at you. So you want to take them out if you are able to. And we just need to swim past here and get out into space. And we have another variation of an enemy. This is a Schwarz. It is a variation of the eel monster that we met back in DDD Resort. And honestly, it's not the biggest deal. It'll try to suck you in, but as soon as it stops trying to suck you in, you can hurt it by circling it and then grabbing it and trying to kill it that way. Basically the same as the eel monster back in DDD Resort. And these are more new enemies. These are space jelly frizzes, and a large space jelly frizz. But what we have to do is, they act exactly like the regular jelly frizzes. They just have a new name and new appearance because we're in space. But realistically, they don't do anything new. And we actually, I think we're just going to take this one out to make it easier on ourselves. And I don't believe we need to go down. There is another Schwarz down there that you can defeat, but I don't feel a need to fight it. What I do feel a need to do is push in this blue button. And then what we need to do is very quickly swim to the right here and try to get out of the Schwarz. And then we need to push down this yellow button and get at least one Kirby through here, which we did not, so we have to do it again. And I'm just gonna speed this up because this can take a couple of tries. Okay, well, it only took me a second try. I did almost miss it if you could hear the ticking going insane in the speed up, but we have another skeleton key, so we are just messing with the Scullies once again, or I guess the Scullies are messing with us. Either way you look at it, we just need to defeat the Scullies and take out this red one and get our treasure chest before more Scullies decide to show up. And this should give us our first Kirby medal of the stage. The first of 5. And we will be teleported, and thankfully we are teleported here instead of outside, because all we need to do now is hit this yellow star, and it'll allow us to go through the door. Makes it a lot easier for us, if I'm being honest. But now we are, I believe we're heading inside this ship, which basically turns this into another regular level. And we have another new enemy, or again, had another new enemy. These are Space Mosos. They work exactly the same, except they're in space. You can probably tell a theme of what's happening. But I really don't know why they just decided to make a bunch of space enemies. There was really no reason to. Bye, Space Oru. He's setting off the high alerts and forcing us into an elevator. That almost crushed my Kirby. I don't know if that can actually crush your Kirby, but I don't really want to find out if it can or not. But now we have a elevator section, and this one is actually easier than I think every other elevator section we've done so far. Your main task during this elevator section is to just hit all the buttons. If the button is lit up, you want to hit it, because it will always open up a space or a trap door and make your life easier, or make it possible to get things, such as that bomb. So you don't have to destroy 3 layers of 3 layers of blocks. You can only hit the one bomb, and it'll set you free. And we want to try to keep our Kirbys mostly center, just to make it easier for us to hit anything we need to hit. And I believe this will open up the side path on the right, which just makes it so we don't have to hit another block, and gives us a couple of bananas. So we're going to get 10,000 more points here. Give me my points! And I believe this elevator is unique because we're, for the 3rd time this one level, we're in space, so all the technology is going to be different, and this one can go side to side, or at least slightly side to side. And there is a magic ring here in case any of your Kirbys have been hurt up to this point. Speaking of hurt, hello, Space Orus. I'm going to want to take you out as quickly as possible so you don't get in my way. And then we want to hit that button. And the reason we want to take out that Space Oru is because if they get in your way, they can become a real nuisance. Hit this one so we can open up this trapdoor. And yet again, gives us access to a bomb block, which just opens up the blockways a lot more than trying to hit the blocks yourself. And another Space Oru. And I think we want to actually attack this one to break these metal blocks, because again, it's easier than trying to throw downwards to break blocks. And we want to hit that one, then this one, and then we need to break this block and send in a Kirby over there before we get down to the Space Oru, because we don't really want to deal with that one. And the reason we are hitting all these buttons is because with this last button, we actually get access to our rainbow medal, which we have to run under here and throw a Kirby up there to get the medal. And that is our 2nd medal of the stage. And then we should be able to chase after that one Space Oru that was out here. Also, we just have regular Orus. This is to show that they are just regular Orus in spacesuits. That was dumb. Attack this one, throw up here to attack this one, so we don't have to deal with it, and then we can throw over here to attack this one, because once we take out all 3 of them, we are allowed out of this room, and we only have 1 hit to show for it, which is very nice. And this is another new mechanic of this stage. We have a arrow switch, which once pushed, sets off a timer and makes zero gravity happen. This one is just to show you how zero gravity works, but yeah, it's basically just to show that zero gravity is a thing in this stage, and is very useful for things like going straight up, which we are basically going to want to button mash straight up through here, get the magic ring to heal our Kirby, and we actually want to go up here instead of to the right, because right up here is another Kirby medal, specifically our third Kirby medal. And now we have to wait for the timer to go off so we can... Oh, the space Posula actually shoot lightning instead of the poison. I did not realize that, actually. That is interesting. It makes them a lot more connected to the jelly frizzes than to their land counterparts, I guess. And I guess this is a good time to say this. We actually have to do this level twice because there is a split in the path here. You can either go up there, or you can go back once you push that lever and fly up here. And there are buttons here that you can push. And if we can hit all of them in a semi-timely manner, we can... Please? Yeah, if you hit all of them in a timely manner, before you lose gravity, you can open up that trap door and get access to a golden door, which once we're dropped, we can go through. And for some reason, we're still inside but have zero gravity, and this is an auto-scroller stage. So you basically want to make sure that you don't get trapped on the right side of the screen, because you will just die if you are squished. But honestly, it's not a super difficult stage, or super difficult part of the stage. You just have to avoid the Gordos, because they will also instantly kill you, and make your way to the right. Because at the end here, we have more Blam Booms, which I am going to take the liberty to destroy so they don't shoot at me more. Mostly because the Blam Booms are super easy to defeat if you know where they are and how to defeat them. Just one hit per each, and each of them are out. And we should be getting close to the edge of the stage. Dodge that. Nice miss, me. Take out those two Blam Booms. And somewhere around here should be something we are looking for. Now, where is it? Oh, we have access to actually move now. And here is what I was looking for. We just have to time it and fire with the Kirbys to get our fourth Kirby medal. And going up here sets us back into space, but it is also a exit gate. Specifically the question mark exit gate. And we have a silver star for getting here with only Kirby's being hurt, with no Kirby's actually dying. And we found the button, which hitting both the button in level 8, or stage 8, and in stage 11 gives us access to stage 9, but we need to go back into stage 11 to do the alternate path. So I will meet you back at that zero gravity switch that we have the split path at. Alright, we are back, and I recommend pretty highly taking out these Mosos before attempting to fly up here, because it can actually be a pretty difficult run if you don't. So we want to take those two out, and then we are just going to activate the switch, and again, just fly straight up. And what we need to do is just avoid the enemies and avoid the planets, and get up here into this door. If the zero gravity ends before you get up here, there's actually a lever are a trap door there that blocks you out, and you're not actually able to get past it. Plus you fall straight back down, so that's not fun either. Another Schwarz that we are just going to ignore. I don't think we need to go into this gold door, but I'm going to anyway. Let's see what's in here. We go in here, we're going to break these blocks first, and then... what's behind switch number 1? Switch number green apple. Can I please throw downwards? You stupid Kirby's. Come on. Guys, it's not that hard. Come on, throw downwards. Apparently this is gonna take me a minute, so I will be back when I get this lever down, apparently. There we go. I had to very specifically grab and throw each of the Kirby's, or they would just not go, basically. But once we get down here, it's very easy to grab all of these green apples, which will then turn into fruit. If you're somehow low on Kirby's, or if Kirby's died, this is a very good place to get more Kirby's. I think I just got 2 bonuses from that alone, basically. But if you don't need more Kirby's, that door is almost completely useless to you. What we really need to do is go over here, and realistically, I would want to grab that big candy, but I don't really want to. Because what we need to do is get over here and get this key. So we're just going to mash here until this Schwarz gets tired. And then we need to hit this block, grab the key, and make our way to the right. And the reason you don't want the big Kirby candy is because it can kind of get away from you. Basically, if you hit that key with the big Kirby candy or with the large Kirby's, it just breaks the key. And the same thing for this treasure chest. If you hit it with the big Kirby's, it also just breaks the treasure chest for some reason. But once we get this treasure chest out, we can open it with this key and get our final Kirby medal for the stage. And then I believe we just go into this cannon, and this will lead us directly to the same spot that the other route takes us. So basically, whichever route you take will always lead you to the button in this stage. And since I took no damage, we get a gold star! And we have to do the whole animation for them finding a ghost button this time! And for some reason that gives us another 3,000 points. But on to the final regular stage of the game! Stage 9! I don't know why they numbered it like that. This should have been stage 9, this should have been stage 10, and this should have been stage 11. Just to make it easier on people trying to understand what's happening. But on to stage 9! This is the second stage that requires 10 Kirby's that is not a boss stage, or is quote-unquote not a boss stage. You will understand what I mean very quickly. But you see, we have graves for what looks like the King Alongo, the Big War Wiggle, and the Big Gear, So those are all things that we have fought before. And nice key falling on top of my head. I believe this is another big Zombon. We're just gonna run because I don't want to deal with that. But those are 3 bosses that we have fought before. The Big War Wiggle, the Gear, or the Great Gear, that's what it's called, and the King Alongo. So it's very interesting that all 3 of those graves are here of all places, since, you know, none of those bosses were fought here. But we want to just head down here. You could tell that you could head down here because of the cracks. And we just want to come down here, and once we get all the way down here, I believe I already missed the first medal, so that's probably on me. I'm probably going to have to come back in here. But I want to run over here and show that the warp gate's right there. So if you don't want to do this whole roundabout thing, if you have to come back in here for the first medal like I probably will, there's your warp gate. But we're going to start left to right. So we're going to go in here first. And these things just look like they have faces. Like, I know that it's supposed to look like, I guess, frogs or something. But it's just really funny. And welcome to the first of the boss rushes. And our first boss is the Mechanical King Alongo. And yes, that does mean that the 3 graves outside that we saw, those are the 3 bosses that we have to fight here. And I'm already almost out of air because of this mucky water. But we are just going to try to take out the King Alongo as quickly as possible. Break this to try to get some air out of it. Luckily, the King Alongo, just like the first fight, gives up plenty of air. And again, this fight is almost exactly the same, except it's slightly harder, as will all of the fights be, because this one is in murky water, so you have less time that you can be without air in this fight. But since the King Alongo gives you so much air whenever it appears, you should never really have a problem. And I believe we have this first one. We have 2 left on the bottom, 1 left on the top. Grab this air so we can survive a little bit longer. And I think I want to be on this side. Give me a little bit more leeway. And that is the top completely done. So if we can just finish off the bottom, that is the first boss complete. And please do not come running through. Actually making it easy on us. I am happy to see it. And just like the first King Alongo, as soon as you break all of the pieces, it is destroyed. And luckily for me, I actually like the King Alongo fight, so this is not one that I am sad to see come back. But with the boss beaten, the door disappears, and the first of the chains are broken. And I actually lied a little bit. I'm not going to go in the middle door because it makes doing the last door slightly harder. So we're going the left door, the right door, then the middle door. And say hello to the Great Gear for the second time. And this one I think almost works exactly the same, except for one aspect that we'll go over once it happens. But the first stage of this should go just as easily as the original Great Gear fight. We're just going to take it out, and that is stage 1. And stage 2, it puts bonbons on the field, making it so that we actually have enemies that will respawn over and over and over again. And now we have sand. Basically, this boss was originally fought in the Sandy Canyon. So its mechanic is that it is going to put the quicksand from the Sandy Canyon into play. And we basically just have to survive the Sandy Canyon sand for the duration of this fight. And actually, I think we want to just try to throw over this. We do not want any of our Kirbys to die. That makes it so we want to get... This is not going well, if it's not obvious. We want to make it even like that, and then we should be able to take out the second layer. But the Great Gear famously has 3 phases. So, this one should be easy enough. We just want to take out this bottom one. And swim the Kirbys back up, please. because I want to keep all 10 of my Kirbys. Just because, one, it makes the fights easier, and two, there may or may not be something that requires 10 Kirbys at the end of this. Ah, god damn it. I think we're just going to break this bottom one. And then we're going to go over here and break this bottom one. And Kirby, please stay upwards. I don't want to have to fight against it. And as soon as you break the Great Gear or defeat the Great Gear, the sand, or the quicksand turns to stone for some reason. And you can just stand on it. And that was a horrendous run of the Great Gear, by the way. But that is the second of the 3 bosses down, and the door is now unchained, so all we need to find is a key. And no, this key does not work on this door. But first, I want to go all the way down here, and I want to head to the left to go through this magic circle to get all my Kirbys back to full health. Because, like I said, that Great Gear fight was horrendous. But now it's time for the War Wiggle fight. And the way that this one is harder is just because it has spikes now. So if you miss the throw, your Kirbys get hurt. Unlike the original where all you had to do was dodge the War Wiggle. But again, it is the exact same fight with the War Wiggle. Just make sure you hit the correct section. This is going to be a short section. This might be a long section. It is, so we're just going to throw again. And we're on to phase 3, which I believe is going to be all the way through. And we just need to hit the key more. Basically, instead of trying to get an escape door this time, we're trying to get the key that the War Wiggle has. And this War Wiggle, I think, actually moves faster than the original one, too. So if you're not at least semi-fast with throwing your Kirbys and moving them, you can be in semi-trouble. And please give me the key. War Wiggle, I'm begging. Please just give me the key so I don't have to fight you anymore. Just give it to me. One of my Kirbys did get hurt because I hit the bottom part too, which is unfortunate, but I don't think this is going to be much of a difficult fight. Just give it to me. Finally. And with that, the War Wiggle should just drop its key and explode. And this should give us the key to the master door in this chapter, or stage. And we get a whole animation. We don't even get to touch the key. Not allowed to touch the key at all, apparently. But we get a whole animation of it going into the lock, and all we have to do is go and turn it. But first, I want my blue Kirby to not be blue, so... And then we just need to come over here and turn the key. Which, unfortunately, has the same mechanics as the last time, where you have to chase the Kirby face. And what better way to end off a mini boss rush than with a boss of their own? Say hello to the Buzzy Bat and its little bats. The Buzzy Bat is the yellow one, and the little bats are the black ones. And basically, the Buzzy Bat is the only bat you actually need to take out. So what you want to do is clear out enough of the little bats as possible to be able to throw your Kirbys onto the Buzzy Bats. And now we have another version of bat. That is a prickle bat. And the prickle bat's only use is to be an obstacle for you. If you hit it, you get hurt. But now we go to the hardest form of the Buzzy Bat, where it, 1, becomes red and angry, but 2, it will become this, like, shed thing if you don't take it out quick enough. And then it will appear, and it's basically a tornado of buzzy bats and little bats. But if you can time it well, it's pretty easy to defeat, all things considered. And that is the end of the Buzzy Bat. We only literally got hit one time, and that's just because of the first round that the Buzzy Bat crushed me. The Prickle Bat never even touched me, actually. But now that we're out of that stage, we can come over here, and we have a tent platform, which we can go down and get a medal. This is going to be the second medal because I missed the first one. And if we break this open, we have a golden door. Which, if you were able to keep your key safe all the way to here, here is your treasure chest. You have to get this key from the start of the level through 4 full boss fights. It is probably the most jerkish thing that this game has done yet. Because being hit even a little bit the wrong way will make you drop the key, and especially the instant kill stuff will definitely make you drop the key. And then you have to do the whole stage again and fight all 4 bosses again just to get a chance at getting to that treasure chest. But because we haven't gotten our rainbow bridge to the final boss of this world yet, here it is, right after all of the I guess we call them mini boss rush, because they're not world bosses, they're just mini bosses. And that brings us to the final stage. But alright, sorry about the cut. I just wanted to go back into stage 9 to show that if we go past that first grave, we can go over here, and there are Scullies protecting this one. And give me my Scully back. I don't want you to even think about touching it. And we can come over here and we can push this grave out of the way. It's weird that they put the necessary grave first, but, you know, I guess they want to make it so what happened to me happens to other people. But you can come down here and get the rainbow medal, which, of course, the one medal I missed is the most important one. But that is the only medal I missed, so I will meet you back on the stage select screen. Alright, on the stage select screen, all we have left is the boss. So let's go ahead and head inside. Of course, like every other boss besides King DDD, you need 10 Kirbys to get in here. And this is probably my second least favorite boss. Because it is using the same mechanics as the one stage that had all the meteorites, and you can probably tell that I wasn't the biggest fan of that stage. But this is the Skull Lord, and all you need to do for this first stage is break all of the meteorites, because you don't want them to hit the platform, because if they hit the platform, you start losing ground, and if all of the platforms break, you just lose all of your Kirbys and die. It's brutal, is what it is. But this part of the stage, after you break all of the meteorites, you just have to hit the Skull Lord in the head 3 times, and it pushes him down into the volcano. And they put spikes on his head and spikes on the side of this stage, just so if you miss somehow, that you instantly lose your Kirbys, because there is no coming back from that section if your Kirby dies. This section is actually a lot easier than the beginning part, because all you're doing is following the screen, and on the top screen it shows you exactly where he's shooting the meteorites, or the lava balls, I guess, and you can just maneuver your Kirbys to catch every single one. So I actually much prefer this level after the first stage, because the first stage is by far the hardest part of the boss fight. But now we get into a little bit more of how you can actually hit the spikes on the side, because now we're firing cannons into cannons, and we have to just line them up in order to actually get them to get over here and hit the Skull Lord. You can also see that the final cannon has 5 on it and counts down. That's basically if you take too long, it'll fire automatically, which is not great. In fact, I would say it's awful because it'll most likely fire you straight into his spikes, which nobody wants. But on to his third and final phase, which is basically his second phase sped up. But as long as you follow where the top screen is showing, you should have almost no problems. We just need to go to the right, then to the left, and remember, by double tapping the screen, the Kirby's run, which is very useful in this stage to make sure that the Kirbys are where you want them to be when you want them to be there. And the final thing here is we're playing, I guess this is the opposite of Tug of War with a meteorite. What's the opposite of Tug of War? We're trying to push the meteorite back at the Skull Lord or away from us. And this should lead us directly into the final cannon. And I'm going to bite my tongue because we are very close to doing this without taking any damage. And that is something that I don't normally do in this stage because it is very difficult. Over here, and this... Damn it! I knew I was gonna mess something up. It's fine. There's a time limit technically on this part, but it's a pretty long one, so I don't really feel a need to rush. And I already lost a Kirby, so I'm very sad now. I can't believe I messed up my perfect run because I was rushing. Miss. This is by far the hardest part, by the way. It's spinning in circles very quickly makes it very hard to actually hit him. But with that, that is the end of the Skull Lord and the end of Volcano Valley and our final main world of the game. And how dare it show the darkened levels. So with that, every single Scully in every world is now gone. As you saw, they all popped out of existence, but we have a new threat. very, very creepily showing up on the sidelines here. Scullies are no longer patrolling the islands. And let's see what Squeak has to say. Our Dagroach is his name. The Squeak Squad. The last island has come into view. Just think of it, you defeat the Skull Lord. Necrodius must be on this next island. Now, onward to the final fight. Return to me safe and sound. Suddenly, the metals began to glow. Their light grew brighter and brighter until the metal swirled with rainbow light. Dagroach was right, the rainbow metals were filled with dazzling power. Kirby held the treasure high and an intense light shot towards the dark clouds. The clouds faded away and an eerie floating island came into view. There was no doubt about it, it was Necrodius' realm. And this is the main reason why I've been so insistent on getting every single rainbow medal, because it is the only way to get to our last island here. Horned fiends of the Skull Gang swarmed over the Kirbys, pulling them off the Warp Star one by one. Only one Kirby was left as the Warp Star raced towards Necrodius' island. And that last hero then bravely entered the shadowy realm. And this is also why I was referring to World 4, the Volcano Valley, as the last real or normal world. Because welcome to Necro Nebulous, World 5, which if I can go over to some levels, you might notice some faces in the very small point in the top right-hand corner. Just a couple of faces we might recognize. But I think we're gonna leave that till next time. So, I hope that everyone enjoyed watching. If you did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Next time, we start the boss rush, which is Necro Nebula. But until then, happy adventuring!